The early morning sun cast long, slanted shadows across the tarmac at Falcon Gate, one of Los Angeles International Airport's more discreet private terminals. Quiet, minimal, with sandstone walls and minimalist furniture that whispered wealth instead of shouting it, the lounge was designed for the kind of clientele who measured status in silence. CEOs, dignitaries, celebrities traveling under pseudonyms. It wasn't a place that invited questions. At 9:21 a.m., the glass doors slid open with a soft hush, and a woman stepped inside. She wore faded sneakers, the kind that had long lost their brand imprint, and loose, light-washed jeans cuffed at the ankle. A plain black hoodie covered her shoulders despite the spring warmth, and over one arm hung a cream-colored canvas tote bag. From the bulge of its contents, it looked like she had packed a sandwich, perhaps some documents, and not much else. She walked with no fanfare, no assistant trailing behind, no rolling luggage, no designer sunglasses perched on her head. She just walked in, calm, composed, and looking precisely like someone who had wandered into the wrong terminal. Behind the front desk were two staffers, Luis and Courtney. Luis was mid-sentence when she approached, flipping through the latest aircraft dispatch printouts. Courtney was leaning on the desk, half-scrolling her phone and sipping a lavender oat milk latte. "Excuse me," the woman said, voice calm, pleasant. Luis glanced up. "Yes, ma'am. I have a 10 a.m. departure. Jet's on runway 4. Courtney raised an eyebrow without hiding it. "From this terminal?" "Yes." Luis blinked. "Name?" "Ava Delaney." Courtney froze. "As in Delaney Logistics?" "Yes." Luis stifled a laugh. "You're the Ava Delaney?" Ava smiled faintly. "Yes." Luis looked her over, the hoodie, the worn sneakers, the tote bag that looked more Whole Foods than world domination. He exchanged a look with Courtney, who had already begun tapping something on her keyboard. He leaned in, voice low and half apologetic. "I'm not trying to be rude, but we've had folks try to bluff their way in here. You'll need credentials. Or a listed pilot code." "I brought both," Ava said softly, reaching into her bag. She pulled out a folder, not a briefcase, not a high-end leather portfolio, just a navy blue folder with the corners slightly frayed. She passed it across the counter. Courtney accepted it and flipped it open with mechanical disinterest until she saw the first page. FAA clearance. TSA private manifest. Tail number registered to Delaney Global Holdings. She flipped again. And again. It was real. Still, the disbelief hung thick between them. "Well," Courtney muttered, "you don't look like most of the folks we see around here." Ava didn't answer. She walked past them and took a seat by the window, her fingers lightly tapping on her phone screen. She didn't sulk. She didn't explain. She didn't lecture. She just waited. By 9:58 a.m., the hangar doors opened and 3 ground crew workers strode out to prep the jet taxiing into position. It was sleek, white with rose gold accents, and bore the unmistakable logo, DGH Delaney Global Holdings. The co-pilot stepped off and headed straight toward the terminal. He walked in briskly, approached the desk, and asked, "Is Miss Delaney ready?" Courtney glanced up. "You're here for her?" "Yes," he replied. "She's the owner." There was a beat of silence. Luis swallowed. We didn't know." Ava stood up, zipped her tote bag shut, and walked toward the doors. Luis stepped forward, his voice uneasy. "Miss Delaney, about earlier." She paused, looked at him square in the eyes, not with anger, not even pity. Just calm clarity. "You didn't recognize me," she said evenly. "But it wasn't about that, was it? It was about what I was wearing. About how I looked." He looked down, unable to meet her gaze. "Next time someone walks in here looking too simple to be important," she added, "remember this moment." Then she stepped past him and onto the tarmac. The jet engines whirred to life behind her. As she climbed the steps and disappeared into the cabin, a maintenance worker across the hangar, who had been watching the whole scene, clicked a quick video on his phone. Just a 30-second clip. Ava stepping onto the plane, the logo shining behind her in the California sun. He captioned it simply. "Airport staff laugh at woman in hoodie. 5 minutes later, her private jet rolls up. She owns it." By sunset, the clip had gone viral. The comment section exploded. She didn't scream, didn't threaten, just walked like a boss, clapping hands. Imagine mocking someone who owns the sky you're standing under. Filipina excellence. Quiet, powerful, undeniable. Ava never commented. She didn't repost it. She didn't like the attention. She had work to do. That very afternoon, she was en route to a closed-door meeting in New York with an international disaster relief agency. Her company, Delaney Global Holdings, was finalizing logistics to deliver emergency aid across 6 hurricane-impacted regions of the southeastern U.S. By the time most of social media was still sharing the viral clip, Ava was standing in a Stark conference room near Park Avenue, hair tied back, laptop open, discussing container deployment schedules and supply chain redundancies. "You travel alone?" one of her partners asked during a coffee break. "No press, no security detail, no assistant?" Ava sipped her coffee, leaned back in her chair, and gave a small smile. "I don't need to be seen to make an impact. People are most honest when they don't know who you are." And it was true. It always had been. She had started from nothing. Raised by immigrant parents who opened a tiny Filipino food stall in National City, Ava had grown up taking orders, cleaning tables, and doing homework in between customers. She knew the weight of judgment. People assuming she didn't belong, didn't matter, wouldn't amount to much. But she also knew how to listen, how to learn, how to let underestimation be the quiet fuel behind greatness. She got into UCLA on scholarship, studied industrial systems, took jobs no one wanted, started a logistics firm out of her garage, first handling school supplies, then disaster goods. She was 27 when her company landed a 7-figure FEMA subcontract. She didn't celebrate publicly, just reinvested, trained staff, streamlined global routes. Today, her firm handled over 60% of the emergency response supplies in 5 states. The hoodie? Still her favorite. The tote bag? Still packed by her every morning. The sneakers? Comfortable, durable, perfect for walking through loading bays or rural airstrips. Ava didn't believe in appearances. She believed in capability. Weeks later, she returned to Falcon Gate. Same terminal, same jet, same jeans. This time, the front desk staff was new. A young woman named Rachel stood as soon as Ava stepped through the door. "Miss Delaney," she said with a smile. "Welcome. Your jet is ready. It's an honor to have you here." Ava nodded, warm but reserved. "Thank you." As she walked to the waiting area, Rachel added, "By the way, my sister saw that clip of you. She's in high school, wants to be an engineer. She said she's never seen someone like her, like us, owning a jet." Ava paused. "Tell her she already owns the right to be in any room," Ava said. "And no one can take that from her." Then she boarded. She didn't need applause. She didn't need recognition. She just needed the work to speak. And it did. In every relief shipment delivered before the storm hit. In every scholarship her nonprofit quietly granted to girls from immigrant families entering STEM fields. In every warehouse she walked through, clipboard in hand, just another worker in jeans and sneakers. Because true power didn't roar. It walked quietly. And sometimes it carried a tote bag.